Welcome back to the community of the light, chosen soul. Hear me clearly in this instant. Stop scrolling. Something has been trying to reach you all day, and this is the moment it finally breaks through. You did not stumble upon this message by accident. Your name was whispered in heavenly places 2 hours ago, and what I am about to tell you will make sense of things you thought were just coincidence. There has been a shift in the spiritual realm concerning your life. Not tomorrow, not next week. It happened while you were sleeping last night. And the evidence is about to show up in your physical reality in ways you cannot ignore. For the last 120 minutes, the angel assigned to your destiny has been pacing, waiting for this exact moment when your heart would be open enough to receive what needs to be said. This is not a warning to scare you. This is a notification to prepare you, because someone who was sent to study your life from the shadows just walked into the light and confessed everything. Not because they were caught, because they were changed. And what they discovered about you is about to change everything you thought you knew about your own story. There is a person in your recent past, someone you either loved deeply or trusted completely, who could not understand why you disappeared. Not physically, but energetically, why your presence shifted, why your responses became shorter, why the version of them who had access to all of you suddenly found doors closed. They did not know how to ask you directly. Pride would not let them. Fear of rejection paralyzed them, so they made a choice that crossed a sacred line. They hired someone to watch you, to follow your daily patterns, to document where you went, who you saw, what your life looked like without them in it. If your chest just tightened reading that, breathe, because this story does not go where you think. The person they hired, let us call him Marcus. He was not new to this kind of work. He had tracked unfaithful spouses, located missing persons, gathered evidence for court cases. This was just another job, another paycheck, another stranger to observe and report on. But you were not just another stranger, and Marcus realized that the first week he followed you to a coffee shop on a Wednesday morning. You sat alone by the window with a journal and a Bible. He watched you from across the street, camera ready, notepad open. But something happened that he could not document in his report. He said later that he felt a weight in the air around you, like the atmosphere itself was different within a few feet of where you sat. He took photos, yes. But when he reviewed them that evening, every single one had an unusual brightness around your face that he could not explain, not a technical glitch, not sunlight, something else. Marcus continued the assignment because that is what professionals do. He followed you to the grocery store, to work, to the park where you walked alone at sunset. And with each passing day, he became more disturbed, not by anything you were doing, by what you were not doing. You were not hiding anything. You were not meeting anyone suspicious. You were simply living a quiet, ordinary life. But there was something about the way you moved through the world that unsettled him. He said, it was like watching someone who was being protected by something invisible. Like you had a shield he could not see but could somehow feel. 3 weeks into the surveillance, Marcus had a dream. In it, he saw himself standing in a courtroom, but instead of being a witness, he was the one on trial. And the charge was not invasion of privacy. It was interfering with someone under divine assignment. He woke up shaking. He tried to dismiss it as stress, as guilt, as his conscience finally catching up with him. But the dream came back the next night. And the night after that, each time more vivid, each time with a voice he did not recognize saying, "Stop watching and start seeing." On the fourth night, Marcus did something he had not done since childhood. He prayed. He got on his knees in his apartment and said, "God, if you are real. If this person I am following belongs to you, show me what to do." And the moment he finished that prayer, his phone rang. It was 2 in the morning. The call was from a blocked number. When he answered, there was silence. Then, a single sentence spoken by a voice he would later describe as neither male nor female, neither young nor old. It said, "She is not hiding, she is healing, and you are standing in the way." The line went dead. Marcus sat in the dark, trembling. He opened his laptop and looked at all the surveillance photos he had taken over the past month. And this time, he saw what he had been missing. In every single image, your eyes carried something he had never seen in all his years of tracking people. Not sadness, not fear, not anger. Peace, unshakable peace in the middle of what should have been loneliness. And in that moment, Marcus broke. He called the person who hired him and said, "I cannot finish this job. Whatever you are looking for, you will not find it by watching from a distance. This person is not hiding anything from you. They are protecting themselves from you. And if you had eyes to see it, you would understand why." He refused payment for the incomplete assignment. He deleted every file, every photo, every note. And then he did something that shocked even himself. He found a church and walked in during a Sunday service. He sat in the back row and wept through the entire sermon. When the altar call came, he went forward. He gave his life to the same God he felt protecting you. Now, if that story stirred something in your spirit, do me a favor. Drop the word "protected" in the comments right now. Let me see who this is landing with. Because what I am about to tell you next is going to shift how you see your entire journey. The person who hired Marcus, they do not know yet that he stopped the surveillance and gave his life to Christ. They are still waiting for a report that will never come. But here is what you need to understand. This was never just about them wanting information. This was spiritual warfare, disguised as curiosity. The enemy saw the shift happening in you. He saw you withdrawing from toxic patterns, from draining relationships, from spaces that no longer served your destiny. And he knew that if you continued on this trajectory, you would become dangerous to his plans. So he stirred up someone from your past to interfere, to distract, to pull you back into old dynamics. But God said, "Not this one. This one belongs to me." And he turned what was meant to be espionage into an evangelism tool. Marcus was supposed to bring back evidence of your life. Instead, he encountered evidence of God's presence. He was supposed to report your movements. Instead, he witnessed your peace. He was supposed to gather information. Instead, he gained salvation. The enemy sent Marcus to spy on you. God used Marcus to show you that even in your loneliest moments, you were radiating something powerful enough to change lives without saying a word. Do you understand what this means? It means that the isolation you felt was not abandonment. It was incubation. It means that the silence you walked through was not punishment. It was preparation. It means that the season where you had to pull back from everyone and everything was not you falling behind. It was you being positioned. And now, as you emerge from that season, you are not returning as the same person who entered it. You are returning as a force. This is the part where I need you to really hear me. Not just with your ears, but with your spirit. You have been marked, not in a spooky, superstitious way, in a biblical way. The same way David was marked while he was still a shepherd boy. The same way Esther was marked while she was still an orphan. The same way Joseph was marked while he was still in prison. Heaven has tagged you as belonging to a specific assignment. And everyone who comes into your presence, whether they realize it or not, is encountering that marking. That is why some people are drawn to you without knowing why. That is why others are repelled by you even though you did nothing to them. That is why certain relationships fell apart no matter how hard you tried to save them. Because you cannot take everyone into the next level. Some people are assigned to your past, not your future. And God had to remove them, not to hurt you, but to protect what He is building in you. Hit that like button if you have ever lost people you thought you needed, only to realize later that God was making room for who you actually needed. Let the algorithm know this message is hitting. Now let us talk about what is coming. The person who hired Marcus is about to realize that the surveillance stopped. They are going to wonder why. They are going to reach out to him, and when they do, they are not going to get the answers they expected. Marcus is not going to betray your privacy by telling them the details, but he is going to say something that will shake them to their core. He is going to say, whatever you did to this person, whatever happened between you, you need to make it right, not for them, for yourself. Because I have seen people in every state of human existence, and I have never seen someone carry what they carry. And if you lost them, you lost more than you know. That conversation is going to trigger something in this person. It is going to start a process of conviction that they cannot escape. And soon, very soon, they are going to show up, not through a mutual friend, not through a text message testing the waters, face to face, humble, broken, ready to say things they should have said a long time ago. But here is what you need to know before that moment comes. Their apology is not your responsibility to accept. Their regret is not your job to fix. Their desire to make things right does not obligate you to make things easy. You are allowed to listen without responding. You are allowed to acknowledge their words without letting them back into your life. You are allowed to forgive them in your heart while keeping the door closed in your reality. Because forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. It means you release the bitterness so it stops poisoning your future. It means you hand them to God and trust Him to handle what you were never equipped to carry. But it does not mean you go backwards. Some of you right now are feeling your defenses go up. You are thinking about what they did, how they made you feel, the way they walked away when you needed them most. And those feelings are valid. God is not asking you to pretend it did not hurt. He is not asking you to skip over the pain and jump straight to forgiveness, like it is easy. What He is asking is that you do not let that hurt turn into a prison that you live in for the rest of your life. Because unforgiveness does not punish them. It punishes you. It keeps you tethered to a season you have already outgrown. And chosen one, you did not survive everything you survived, just to stay stuck in anger. I want to give you something practical right now, not vague spiritual advice, actual steps you can take today to start walking in the freedom that is already yours. First, write down the name of every person you need to forgive. Do not overthink it, just write. If someone comes to mind, put them on the list. This is not for them to see, this is for you to release. Second, next to each name, write one sentence about what they did that hurt you. Be specific, not dramatic, just honest. They lied to me. They chose someone else. They abandoned me when I needed them. Give the pain words. Third, under each sentence, write this: I release you to God. I will not carry what He did not ask me to hold. Fourth, read that list out loud. Yes, out loud. Let your ears hear your voice choosing freedom. Then, and this is important, burn it. Not because burning paper has magic power, but because the act of destroying that list is a physical representation of a spiritual decision. You are watching your bitterness turn to ash. You are seeing the hold those people had on your peace disappear. Fifth, every time you feel the anger rise up again, and it will because healing is not linear, say this out loud. I already released this. It has no power over me anymore. Repeat it as many times as you need to. Your mind will catch up with your decision eventually. 6. Stop rehearsing what you will say when they come back. Stop imagining the conversation where you finally get to tell them how much they hurt you. That fantasy is keeping you chained to them. The moment you stop needing them to hear you is the moment you will actually be free. 7th, create a list of what you will not tolerate in the next season, not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. What behaviors are deal breakers? What patterns will you not ignore again? What red flags will you not explain away? Write it down. When someone shows you who they are, you will have a reference point instead of reverting to hope that overrides discernment. 8th, invest in the relationships that remained. The people who did not leave when things got hard. The ones who checked on you when you went silent. The ones who loved you even when you were not at your best. Those people are gold. Do not take them for granted because you are focused on the ones who left. 9th, start saying out loud what you want to call in. I am attracting healthy relationships. I am surrounded by people who value me. I am walking in divine connections. Speak it until it becomes your reality. 10th, trust your intuition. If something feels off, it probably is. If someone's words do not match their actions, believe the actions. If you feel like you are trying to convince yourself to trust someone, that is not trust, that is hope. And hope without discernment is how you end up back where God already delivered you from. If this is helping you, go ahead and share this video right now with someone who needs to hear it. Do not wait until the end. Do not tell yourself you will do it later. Do it now while the conviction is strong. Let me talk to you about this person who is coming back. They have been going through their own journey since they made the decision to hire Marcus. At first, when you disappeared from their life, they were angry. They told themselves a story where you were the villain. They convinced themselves that your withdrawal was cruel, that your silence was punishment, that you changed for the worse. But as time passed and the anger faded, something else crept in. Doubt. They started replaying conversations. They started seeing moments where you tried to communicate and they were not listening. They started recognizing patterns in their own behavior that they had blamed you for, and then they got desperate. That is when they hired Marcus. They told themselves it was just to make sure you were okay. They told themselves they just needed to know you were safe. But the truth is, they could not handle not knowing what your life looked like without them. They could not handle the possibility that you were fine, maybe even better, without their presence. And that desperation is what led them to violate your boundary in such a profound way. But here is what they do not know yet. The surveillance did not give them what they thought it would. It did not bring them peace. It brought them more questions, because Marcus kept sending short, vague updates. Subject is well, no concerning activity. And every update that did not give them drama or proof that you were struggling made them feel worse. Because deep down, they wanted evidence that you were falling apart without them. They wanted confirmation that they mattered, and when they did not get it, the guilt started to surface. Now the guilt has turned into conviction, and conviction is about to turn into action. They are going to reach out soon, and when they do, you need to be ready. Not ready to take them back. not ready to pretend everything is fine, ready to stand in your truth without apology, ready to love yourself enough to protect the peace you fought so hard to gain, ready to honor what God did in you during your season of isolation by not throwing it away the moment someone from your past shows up with regret in their eyes. Because here is the test. They are going to say all the right things. They are going to cry. They are going to tell you they realize now what they lost. They are going to promise change. And every part of you that still cares about them is going to want to believe it. But this is where wisdom has to be louder than emotion. Watch their life for the next 6 months. Do not make a decision in the heat of the moment. Do not let their tears manipulate you into thinking time has healed what only true transformation can fix. If their change is real, it will still be real in 6 months. If their apology is genuine, they will respect your need for time and space. If they truly value you, they will prove it through consistent action, not just intense emotion in one conversation. And if they try to rush you, if they make you feel guilty for not immediately opening the door, if they accuse you of not being forgiving or claim you are holding the past over their head, that is not conviction. That is manipulation dressed up as repentance. Real repentance is patient. Real change does not demand immediate trust. Real growth understands that some bridges take time to rebuild, and some bridges are not meant to be rebuilt at all. I need to address something else that has been heavy on my spirit throughout this message. Some of you watching this are not just dealing with one person. You are dealing with a pattern. This same scenario has played out multiple times in your life with different people wearing different faces. And you are starting to wonder if the problem is you. Let me stop you right there. The problem is not you. The problem is that